Okay. Well, my many thousands of subscribers and YouTube, who's paying me millions of dollars to do this, I've been bad because what I did was everything sort of fell together. So based on the last little movie I made, this is basically it, all together. I'm starting to rig it right now with elastic thread. And what I'll do is show you how to do that on like the tail pieces, so that's at least something that you can see. But I did everything. The problem is everything went together so dang well and quickly, just sort of went apace, and it was very easy. The wings went on fine. It was wonderful. I'll point out a few things. The struts are all just balsa, and some of them are reinforced with wire like I showed you. But I painted them with this clear acrylic paint, clear orange, from Tamiya, which is a company, and I do a lot of plastic model paints using those airbrushing. And it comes out looking kind of like varnished wood. I kind of like the look of it. On all the struts, and they're all streamlined just by sanding, but they're all balsa, etc. I made the head of the Hispano Suiza 200 horsepower engine sticking out here, just a piece of balsa painted with a Sharpie. And then this exhaust is very simplified, but it's just a piece of plastic sprue that plastic model pieces come on. And I just heated it and bent it and cut it to shape and then glued it in place. So that it's very simplified, but at least gives the hint that there's something there. This is a tiny little propeller, but I'm going to try it without on it first. I don't know. With this, it would take off, for instance, which would be kind of cool. I'm not sure. I did take it and test glide. It seems to glide okay. This is nose weight that's necessary to get it into balance. As it sits right here, it weighs 12 grams, which is not too bad. And that's with a little fake rubber band in it, and that's with the prop, and that's with nose weight. So maybe dry, it's a little less. I made the wheels, which are just balsa sandwiched 1/16 cross grain, and I just have a little piece of paper that I covered with, or just pasted a piece of my brown tissue on to make the hub very simplified. I didn't bother making it into a cone, which I probably should have. The wheels themselves are held on with a little piece of paper that's been glued on with super glue at the end. And the axle, or the hole that runs, that the axle goes through, is actually a little tiny heat-pulled piece of cotton bud, plastic handled ones. Pull them, heat them up, pull them very thin, and you get a very tiny tube, and that makes this axle fits really well in there, and they spin nice, so that's good. What else? I added the motor peg back here, a piece of aluminum tubing with a hole in it. That's so I can stick a piece of wire through it and use a jig if I want to. I put some brown marker around most of the edges to make them look a little better. And everything is straight and square, went together really nicely. And as I said, right now what I'm doing is finishing things off by adding the rigging, and the rigging is very easy to put on. I've got to put on the rigging that goes between the inner planes, and I've got to put some tail rigging, and I'll show you guys the tail rigging. That'll be an easy way to show. It'll be nice and obvious. Show you how you do it, but it's all done the same way. It's very simple. But anyway, so far it seems like it's a cute little model. Seemed to finish real nice. Even with this rubber band in it as it is out in the front yard, it does seem to start to fly. I don't think the rudder is too small. I do think the dihedral, it might be giving me a problem or lack thereof. I'm not sure, because I'm going to play with the thrust first. But if it doesn't work, a trick I saw, some fella made an Albatross D2, which is completely flat, no dihedral. And what he did was he put a piece of clear plastic in between these struts on either side. And that just basically gives you an extra weather vane and help keeping the model from rocking back and forth. Right now, when this thing flies, it goes nice, but it veers off to the left, and I can't tell if I can change that with thrust or what. I'm not sure. The glide is very nice, though, so yeah, it came together really nicely. So what I'll do is shut this thing up. I will get some of the last rigging finished, but then I'll come back and show you the basics of how to rig so that you can see how it's done. But all the parts to do the rigging are back here. I've got this stuff called Easy Line, or just an elastic thread. Any kind of elastic thread will do. I've got some dividers to measure out what's needed. I got some tweezers to grab them. I've got super glue, and I've got accelerator, which helps that go along. I got a little paintbrush to add the accelerator in certain places. And then I've got some toothpicks that I use to add little bits of glue. But anyway, we'll show you that later. But the Austin ball looks pretty nice, I have to say. So we'll show you that rigging, and then we will call it finished and hopefully just show a great flying video of it going for a 2-minute out-of-sight flight. We'll see. Okay, so here, as promised, is the rigging of this last little piece. So what I did was I put a little dot here and a little dot here, which is going to be where this last piece of rigging is going to go. And I measured this with my little dividers. I don't know what this is for, because I thought this was a full flying rudder, so I don't know why there'd be a piece of rigging on it, but the pictures clearly, I think, show there is one, so I'm putting it on anyway. I already put the ones that are on the bottom, as you can see. So this is the last little piece of rigging that's actually needed. So I measured what I needed. I then cut this out. And here's this little piece of this real thin stuff, okay? And what I'm going to do is put a little bit of this zip kicker stuff on either end, just a touch on that end and a touch on this end. Then I'm going to take a little tiny dab of glue, of the super glue, and I'm going to put a little piece there and a little piece there. This is hard to do when I'm not really looking carefully, because usually I have to use my little eye magnifying lenses. So then I just take this piece and I stick it right to where the glue is and hold it for a few seconds, and it will dry almost instantly with that kicker on there. Take the other end, put it to the other part, hold it in place, and of course, because we're trying to do this, that one didn't work, which is okay. Let's just see if we can fix it. We'll add a little bit more of our stuff there. We'll add a little bit more glue. And we'll try to get this thing situated quickly. Well, this is one of the problems with this, is that now that it's been dry, now this piece of glue dried instantly, if not sooner. So I'm going to have to basically let it air dry before I put it in there. It's hard to do this when you're trying to do it without your little, like I said, my little glasses. So I run into some trouble here. Yeah, it's not going to work. So what I'll do is let's let it dry and try it again. But that's all you do. And this will come down and glue on here real nice when it's dry, when I let it air dry a little bit. And that will be the last piece. So everything else here is done. The only other thing I need to do, which I just realized, is I have to make a couple of radiators which go right about here next to this cabane strut on either side. But that'll be easy to do. And even so, it's very, very, very close to being done.